let's talk about Salah versus Mane a little bit. Tazz, you want to start us off with that?
Yeah. So I kind of, even though I saw I can't remember exactly how many points, but Mane has been outscoring Salah in the past couple game weeks. But at the same time, it's kind of like in the long term, I feel like Salah at the end of the season, I expect him to still have more points. He's still in penalties over Mane. It's happened like last season too. A couple game week runs where Mane had a better stint, and everyone's like, oh, like transfer out Salah, transfer Mane. He did that, and like Salah comes back with a brace or something. So I'm not too panicky, but I do like what's the name? Mane is a differential pick. I look up right now to see how much he's owned, but I think he's definitely a great differential pick, especially for captaincy. I feel like most people captain Salah is a safe choice, but now that Mane's been performing almost the same level, it kind of be interesting, to captain him if you really want to have that differential pick.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to find it myself here. Salah is owned by 47.6% of players, and Mane is all the way down at 9.5%.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. I did not expect it to be that much of a difference there. So huge differential opportunity if you stick with Mane. Where did they finish last season? Were they pretty freaking close? I think they were, right? Salah finished better.
233. Mane was 221.
Okay, so relatively close, but solid with the edge.
Yeah, I think last season they had very close. Something it was like Salah was involved in like 41% of Liverpool's goals, and like Mane was involved with 40%, or like it was something like ridiculously like close like that. We're like 1% off for both of them. So yeah.
Yeah. Gasch, how about you?
Yeah. I was looking at the numbers and I checked the last 4 game weeks as kind of an indicator of the form. And Mane has a non-penalty expected goals, so like expected goals from open play of 3.76 in the last 4 games, which is the highest in the league. And Salah's only at 1.85. Mane's had 8 big chances. Salah's had 4. So keeping it when you're looking at those, it's not that Salah's in bad form. It's just that Mane's been getting a lot of opportunities and a lot of chances to score. So I kind of agree with what Tazz said, where if you own Salah, I don't think it's worth doing Salah to Mane transfer. But if you are on a wild card, or if you somehow don't own either of them and you're planning on bringing in one of them, that this could be the time to bring in Mane and save that. I think Mane's at maybe 11.8 or something. He's under 12. He was priced at 12 originally, and he dropped down from there.
He's actually back at 12 now. He must have just rose.
Oh, is he?
Back up,
okay,
yeah.
So
he just got back to 12.
Okay. So anyway, so he's at 12 now then, which is the starting price, and I think Salah is at 12.4 now. So Mane is even coming a little bit cheaper, so you can save some of your budget there as well. Again, I wouldn't switch Salah to Mane, but if you're going for one of them without having either, then I think it's worth considering bringing in Mane instead.
C4?
Personally, with dropping Liverpool defender, let's say Trent, it for me becomes more of a conversation of not Salah versus Mane, but what about Salah and Mane instead of having like a City asset right now. I think earlier in this week, before midweek shakedowns, I was considering when I dropped Trent, taking Sterling out and putting Mane in that spot. I don't know if that's still something I want to do, but I think that could be a very interesting pick.
Yeah, that's interesting. Their next few fixtures is West Ham, City, Leicester. They got Wolves in there. Yeah, so but both of those guys should be fixture proof. Pretty much.
To me, though, like with any Liverpool asset, I think what the double up made, why the double up in defense was attractive was they're fixture proof. They don't really have any rough portions of the schedule. So if you have them in your team, you're not worrying about their fixtures. You're just worrying about their form, which I think is appealing.
Yeah, definitely. Is it just me, or is it like they kind of take turns hauling? It feels like.
Well, it feels like Mane
it's very rare that they
away.
both have a good game.
It feels like Mane hauls away and then Salah hauls at home.
So
that's actually like kind of a myth. That's just how it happened last season. Salah happened to score a lot more points at home, but actually, if you looked at the season before, a lot more of his points came away from home. So it just,
Man,
kind of just
I'm
variation.
I'm opening up to you and I'm telling you what I'm feeling.
All right, I don't know how much sense that makes, but I guess we'll just continue on.
I guess we turn this into an FPL therapy session. Yeah, I would be kind of frustrated owning them both just because of that flip flop between them on the days that they go off. But I always try to not get stuck in that way of thinking week to week. It's about the most points at the end of the season, So not an awful choice to double them up, especially with City looking a bit questionable recently, and KDB was injured, did come back this week, played 80 something minutes in the Champions League, so who knows if he'll be ready to go fully this weekend. I think City's fixtures were a little tougher, maybe. These next few weeks they got Sheffield, shouldn't be awful, but then they got Liverpool, Tottenham back to back, for them to go to Burnley and Fulham. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting call. How close are you to doing that, C4, to doing the Salah Mane? Are you really heavily considering it?
20%.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen anybody do that. Like when people send us their teams or whatever, you see screenshots on Twitter all the time. I've never seen that, but it's interesting for sure.
You lose so much money if you did that, because if let's say you start off with Salah right now, his price went up to 12.4 million. Right now, you would get 12.2 million from him if you sold him to Mane, right? So you bank the 0.2 million extra. But then if you want to upgrade back to Salah, you have to find somewhere else to find that 0.2 extra from Mane, or unless Mane's price rises much. But a 9% ownership right now, for his price to rise, that ownership has to increase significantly. Whereas Salah's so heavily owned right now that all the transfers affect his price significantly more.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like Mane rose tonight, this week.
That's it. Tazz, it's actually kind of the opposite, because if he's only 9% owned, then it's a lot. The number of transfers that happen will be a lot bigger percentage of his ownership than.
Is that how it works? It's a percentage based system?
Yeah. So that's why it's easier for someone at 2% ownership to rise than for someone at 50%.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, Salah kept his ownership high at 50, around there for the entire season. He rose up significantly. I'm just saying, he keeps that high ownership because people constantly transfer him in and out. So, or mostly in.
Oh yeah. And I know. I'm just saying with Mane only around 10%, that he still can rise pretty easily.